Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
We have successfully completed the third chapter, that is the Karma Yoga. And today we are going to start with the fourth chapter, which is the Transcendental Knowledge. Transcendental knowledge means the knowledge of Krishna consciousness. I am sure that we remember in the last segment of the third chapter Karma Yoga, Krishna told Arjun to curb and destroy lust with the help of transcendental knowledge. Krishna said that lust covers the senses, mind, and intelligence. But if the intelligence is engaged in Krishna conscious activities, then the senses and mind are automatically to follow the higher authority intelligence, and thus the lust, which is the eternal enemy, gets automatically killed. Now Arjun had a question in his mind that Krishna, you are asking me to engage my intelligence in transcendental knowledge. So, what is this transcendental knowledge? This is why Krishna, in the fourth chapter, is going to give the transcendental knowledge to Arjun. And whatever is told or explained to Arjun is actually meant for us. So, let's be very alert and attentive, because Krishna, who is himself the Supreme Personality, is going to tell us all about the transcendental knowledge. In the previous chapter, in shlok number 30, Krishna told Arjun, Mai sarvadi karmadi sanyasya chetasa Nirashir nirmamo bhutva yudhyasva vigata jwaraha. Krishna tells to Arjun, O Arjun, surrendering all your works unto me, with your mind fully fixed on me, and without any desire for gain, and free from all kinds of egotism and lethargy, Arjun, you must fight. Srila Prabhupada says that this shloka clearly brings out the message of Bhagwat Gita. Krishna told Arjun to become nishkam, which means working, having no thoughts of gain, and also not having any sense of egotism, which means sense of proprietorship. In this shlok, Krishna is asking Arjun to become Krishna conscious, and Krishna conscious means becoming aware of Krishna's presence everywhere and in everything and in every living being. Radha Govind Maharaj gives a beautiful example of Krishna's presence everywhere and how Krishna is easily approachable by one and all. Maharaj says that Krishna is like the sky, which is everywhere and for everyone. Anyone can see the sky and feel the sky so closely. Similarly, all the other elements of nature, like the air, water, fire, earth, is everywhere. Now, these are the external energies of Krishna and so easily available for each and everyone. Just imagine. Krishna, who resides within the heart of each and every living entity, how close he is to everyone. This knowledge is actually Krishna consciousness, and Krishna wants Arjun to become Krishna conscious so that Arjun may control and conquer lust which is the eternal enemy of every living entity. This is where we completed the previous chapter, Karma Yoga. Krishna is gradually preparing Arjun to give him the transcendental knowledge. So, these were the steps to prepare Arjun, and whatever is meant for Arjun is in real sense meant for each one of us. So, we need to congratulate ourselves that Krishna has prepared all of us to take the transcendental knowledge, which is the 4th chapter of Bhagwat Gita. Now let us recite the first shloka of the 4th chapter with the title Transcendental Knowledge. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavanam Avyayam Vivasvan Manave Praha Manurukshvakave Abravit. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavanam Aham Avyayam Vivasvan Manave Praha Manurikshvakave Abravit. Word meanings: Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, said, Imam, this, Vivasvate, unto the Sun God, Yogam, the science of one's relationship with the Supreme Personality. Proktavan, instructed. Aham, I. Avyayam, imperishable. Vivasvan, the Sun God Vivasvan. Manave, unto the father of mankind, of the name Vivasvan. Praha, told. Manuh, the father of the mankind. Ikshvakave, unto King Ikshvaku. Abravit, said. Translation: The Blessed Lord said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivasvan. And Vivasvan instructed it to Manu, the father of the mankind. And Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku. Now let us read the purport of Srila Prabhupada and have a better understanding of this most important shloka. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, sabhi acharyon ki jai, anant koti Vaishnavon ki jai. Srila Prabhupada says that this shloka brings out the history of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says that he gave this imperishable and immortal knowledge to Vivasvan, who is the sun god, and Vivasvan gave it to Manu, who is the father of the mankind. And Manu in turn gave this knowledge of spiritual science to Ikshvaku. And we all know that Lord Ramachandra appeared in the Raghu dynasty, and Raghu dynasty was headed by King Ikshvaku. So it very clearly brings out that Bhagavad Gita is not something contemporary. Rather, it is coming from the remote time. And one more very important thing, we need to understand that the divine knowledge of Bhagavad Gita was given to the Kshatriyas, as they are meant to rule, and the kings are not only meant to give food, clothes, and shelter to their people. Rather, it is the foremost duty of the king to give the knowledge of Krishna consciousness to his people, so that the rare human life should not be wasted in merely eating, sleeping, producing children, and in accumulating all kinds of worldly, temporary things. So we can clearly understand the importance of Bhagavad Gita, and we have come to know that Bhagavad Gita was first given to all the most important and prominent personalities like the sun god Vivasvan, Manu, and Ikshvaku. Now we can well imagine how blessed and fortunate we are to be reading and understanding the same transcendental knowledge which was given to the most famous personalities in the ancient past. Srila Prabhupada says that in Brahma Samhita it is stated, Yat chakshura esha savita sakala grihnam raja samast sura murtir ashesh teja yasya jnana भ्रमते संभ्रते कालचक्र गोविंदम आदिपुरुषम tamaham bhajami. Brahmaji is saying that let me worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead Govinda, who is Krishna and who is the original person and under whose order the sun, which is the king of all the planets, is assuming immense power and heat. The sun represents the eye of the Lord and rotates its orbit in obedience to the order of Krishna. The sun is the king of all planets, and the sun god, which is at present Vivasvan, rules the sun planet, which is controlling all the other planets by supplying heat and light. He is rotating under the order of Krishna, and Lord Krishna originally made Vivasvan his first disciple to understand the science of Bhagwat Gita. Further, Srila Prabhupada says that in Mahabharata also we can trace out the history of Gita. Treta yugadau cha tatau vivasvan manave dadau manushya cha loka bhritartham sut ikshvakeva dadau ikshvakuna cha kathito vyapya lokan avasthita. It means that in the beginning of the Treta Yuga, this science of the relationship with the Supreme was delivered by Vivasvan to Manu. Manu, being the father of mankind, gave it to his son Maharaj Ikshvaku, the king of this earth planet and forefather of the Raghu dynasty in which Lord Ramachandra appeared. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita existed in the human society from the time of Maharaja Ikshvaku. At the present moment, we have just passed through 5,000 years of the Kali Yuga, which lasts for 432,000 years. Before this, there was Dwapar, which was for 800,000 years, and before that there was Treta Yuga, which was for 1200,000 years. Thus, some 2,005,000 years ago, Manu spoke the Bhagavad Gita to his disciple and son Maharaj Ikshvaku, the king of this planet. All these numbers are mentioned to us only because to let us know the validity and importance of Bhagavad Gita, how ancient it is. And after accepting all these numbers, all the years are given in Bhagavad Gita only to make us realize how ancient is Bhagavad Gita. And before the birth of Manu, Gita was spoken by the Lord to his disciple, the sun god Vivasvan. A rough estimate is that the Gita was spoken at least 120 million 4 lakhs years ago, and in human society it has been existing for 2 million of years. It was re-spoken by the Lord again to Arjun, which is about 5,000 years ago. That is the rough estimate of the history of Bhagavad Gita according to the Gita itself and according to the version of the speaker, Lord Krishna. It was spoken to the sun god Vivaswan because he was a Kshatriya and is the father of all Kshatriyas who are descendants of the sun god or the Surya Vansh Kshatriyas. Because Bhagavad Gita is as good as the Vedas, being spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This knowledge is apaurishaya. Apaurishaya means it is not human, it is superhuman. Since the Vedic instructions are accepted as they are without any human interpretation, the Bhagavad Gita must therefore be accepted without any mundane interpretation. And it is clearly described here in this shlok that the Lord spoke to the sun god spoke to his son Manu, and Manu spoke to his son Ikshvaku. Srila Prabhupada very specifically says that Bhagavad Gita can never be understood by mundane human interpretation. Many scholars have given their commentaries on Bhagavad Gita, but it has not been acknowledged by the most prestigious and learned scholars of the world as Bhagavad Gita as it is. The reason is this, that it has not come in the Guru Shishya Parampara, which is called the disciplic succession. Only Srila Prabhupada has translated the Bhagavad Gita word to word as it was spoken by Krishna, the original speaker of Bhagavad Gita, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In fact, at Radha Damodar temple in Vrindavan, when Srila Prabhupada used to write the commentaries on Bhagavad Gita, his room had a divine light, which was witnessed by Srila Prabhupada's disciples. And when asked by the disciples about the divine light, Srila Prabhupada would say that Krishna comes to dictate, and I only take the dictation by Krishna. This is why Srila Prabhupada's translation has been acknowledged as Bhagavad Gita as it is in the entire world. We are extremely blessed to be reading Srila Prabhupada's purports. Now, we all know that Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Vivaswan, then Vivaswan gave the knowledge to Manu, and Manu in turn gave the knowledge to Ikshvaku. Then, what was the need for Krishna to give the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita personally to Arjun again? To know the answer for this, please stay connected with me, and I promise you that it's going to be a divine experience understanding Bhagavad Gita in the Guru Shishya Parampara as mentioned by Krishna himself. In this shlok, we have understood the brief history of Bhagavad Gita, and now each one of us can guide many people who say that Bhagavad Gita is written by some human beings. I thank each one of you for listening to the Bhagavad Gita shloks very attentively, and thank you everyone for supporting me. I thank Srila Prabhupada and my Shiksha Guru, His Grace Hari Mohan Prabhuji, for making me understand the most secretive knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Now we shall meet in the next shloka, where we will get to know why Krishna has re-spoken the Bhagavad Gita to Arjun again. And this is going to be very, very interesting. So stay connected with me, and till then, Hare Krishna. Keep chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and always be happy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,